Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Elguindy with Muscle Contest International. We're going to be doing a live with the iconic Chris Cormier, nicknamed The Real Deal, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. He also part of the 90s, right? So when we mention the 90s, we have to mention Ronnie Coleman, Sean Ray, Kevin Levrone, Flex Wheeler, and Chris Cormier. Those were the main guys competing, along with Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates. That's considered to be, by many, the greatest generation of bodybuilders. Not only great talent in terms of quality of competitors, but great quantity of competitors. The top 10 there, you had Milos Sarcev, who was 10th, and he was an unbelievable competitor, great physique, and his best placing was 10th. A guy like Chris Cormier, we posted a video on our Muscle Contest International page, and he truly one of the best. Could have won Olympias. He's really competing against, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, Kevin Levrone, Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray. So, by many, the greatest generation of bodybuilders. Let's see here if we find Chris Cormier. He is called The Real Deal. Robert, Phil is in the live right here. Ítalo, Renato Campos. Vou chamar o Chris Cormier. A Leila, que estava lá no YouTube com a gente, vai competir no Mercosul. Vamos ver se a gente acha aqui o Chris Cormier. Esperando pelo melhor live Brazuca. Obrigado. Vamos ver se a gente acha aí o Chris Cormier. Deixa eu ver se eu mando uma mensagem aqui para ele rapidinho, pessoal. Já volto. Ok, Johan Schatz. Johan Schatz competed probably 1992, probably competing against Chris Cormier or not. Johan, correct me if I'm wrong. Kaique de Oliveira, one of the best men's physique competitors in the world right now. Kaique, that won the Muscle Contest Brazil. Daiane Murayama entrou aí. Sérgio Personal, waiting for Chris Cormier. Breno, Chris Cormier join. You guys ready? The Real Deal. Good afternoon, Chris Cormier, The Real Deal, one of the greatest legends of our sport, Chris Cormier. Chris, first of all, how are you?
I'm fine, man. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. Chris, I want to thank you for taking the time. A lot of the Brazilian fans, they love you. Just today, one of the great coaches in Brazil, Ricardo Panaim, he said, that was my idol, growing up, Chris Cormier. And we posted on Muscle Contest International one of your videos. And I must admit, I had never seen that video. One of our guys that does our social media, he got that video. And man, that is the greatest Chris Cormier I have ever seen. I'm going to give a sneak preview here to some of the people watching.
That was cool. Comes the book. Oh, don't do it. Do it. Oh, don't do it. Oh,
Chris,
yeah,
you are one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. You know, there's just no doubt about it. You're one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. This video
thank
here,
you.
when we see your physique, indicates to me that you could have won Olympias with this physique. Tell me, where does that physique come from? I had never seen it.
That was a pro Ironman, and that was a angry style physique. You know, like back in the '90s and 2000s, that was like the early 2000s, and I was actually going against head to head with my training partner, Flex Wheeler, and it was a time where you know, we had little different issues here and there, but just like brothers do. But even backstage at that time, we still said, you know, good luck to each other, and we still gave like, you know, a good luck to you type of thing backstage. But we were really going head to head with each other him at that time, and that was just, you know, it was basically making a statement like, no, you're not just beat me. I'm not going to just lay down for you to beat me. So, yeah, that was the win over Flex Wheeler and Dexter Jackson. Dexter took third.
Okay, yeah, let me translate that in Portuguese to the Brazilian fans. Give me 30 seconds, okay? Esse vídeo que eu acabei de mostrar do Real Deal Chris Cormier é possivelmente o melhor shape da vida dele. Foi uma vitória dele no Ironman. Ele falou que ele estava raivoso, ele teve problemas durante a preparação com um amigo dele, com o Flex Wheeler, e eles ainda se desejaram boa sorte um para o outro, mas quando ele entrou no palco ele falou, não, eu vou ganhar. Então ele ganhou do Flex Wheeler e o Dexter Jackson ficou em terceiro. Chris, is this your greatest physique? I don't think I have ever seen a better Chris Cormier. And honestly, if you had competed with that physique, you could have probably won a few Arnolds and a few Olympias. That has to be your greatest physique, right?
That's one of my best looks, yeah, I think so. Because it was a combination of really good fullness, some good tightness, and collectively, I think an overall look from head to toe, I think that was pretty good. But that was just like, just dieting, playing with the carbs a little bit, just seesawing the carbs up and down like a cycle, and just cutting my water. That was that look right there. Not really like super going for it. I always wanted a healthy look. It was never in my intentions to try to do extreme things to get as dry as possible. That was never in my my repertoire.
O Chris Cormier falou que esse realmente é um dos melhores físicos dele, mas que ele nunca tentou entrar completamente seco, estriado. Ele fez uma oscilação de carboidratos e aí no final ele cortou a água e parece que esse foi o melhor físico dele. Chris, you lived the 90s. You're one of the guys that actually had a relationship with everybody. Dorian Yates didn't have a relationship with anybody, but he kind of liked Chris Cormier. Flex Wheeler considered you to be a brother. Ronnie Coleman, he used to place, you know, behind you all the time. It was like Ronnie Coleman was your younger brother, right?
Yeah, right.
And you had a great relationship with Kevin. You lived the 90s. Tell me a little bit how those years really transpired. did you guys really like each other, or there was rivalry, there was hatred? How did it all work, the greatest generation?
I think we had a mutual respect for each other. And at the time, you know, you got to be honest and like, you got to like, okay, you can't like put them so high in your mind that they're not reachable or not beatable. So, you know, in my mind, I'm still trying to tear apart Kevin, trying to tear apart Flex, Dorian, all this stuff. So, you know, even Sean, like you sizing him up since I was a teenager. I met Sean when we were in high school, you know, so a mutual respect, but we knew not to call each other out because we knew that person was going to bring everything they got and probably then some. So we had a mutual respect, but in your mind, you're trying to see how can I look at them in a different light. So now we have a totally different, now you see the real thoughts that we're older and we can give praise and give, you know, and say out loud what we really thought about each other.
O Chris Cormier falou que durante aquela época nenhum deles se desrespeitou, tinha uma rivalidade, eles tinham um respeito mútuo. E eles não queriam provocar ou motivar o outro atleta, mencionando para o outro atleta, ah, eu sou melhor do que você, dando mais motivação para o outro atleta. Agora que eles já são mais velhos, eles realmente comunicam um pouco mais do que eles estão pensando. Chris, looking back, who was your best friend in the 90s and who was your worst enemy? Who was your best friend in the 90s and who was your worst enemy, the guy you hated?
I mean, hate is a big word, but I was really close with Flex, obviously. I was really close with, you know, like you said, I had a close relationship with a lot of different guys because I spent a lot of time on tour, a lot of time with different bodybuilders in different areas, but I would say even Rico McClinton. I mean, we just speak on a morning, every morning. You know, he was like my first friend that I met, and so, and we met, you know, basically talking crap to each other in the gym. That's how we started to be friends. Because we were showing each other a body part. He showed me a body part. I'm like, well, look at these hamstrings, like that. That's how we met. We became good friends after that. So he was like my best friend at that time.
So Rico Flex Wheeler, who was the guy that you really didn't get along? It was not close, didn't really care for the guy?
It's funny. Different times. I would think, like I had we had a situation with like Lee Priest, something like that. But you know, like, but now we're really cool with each other, cordially. We speak on the phone periodically. So I feel like a lot of that's got to do with ego. A lot of this got to do with you know, testy times in the sport. But a lot of different guys that I had a situation with, you know, that's all in the past, and we're like, I'm cool with everybody. I mean, there's no reason they stay on like that, but I think it's just because of the competition itself.
Chris Cormier falou que os dois melhores amigos dele foram Flex Wheeler, Rico McClinton, e o cara que ele tinha uma rivalidade, e isso porque o nível de competição era o Lee Priest. Chris, there's this talk that if Chris Cormier didn't party as much, he would have been 10 times Mr. Olympia. That comes from guys like Flex Wheeler, your best friend. Flex Wheeler said, Chris was better than me. You know, he just partied like a madman. Sean Ray, who's very controversial, she said, man, Chris Cormier was the guy. If you look at Chris Cormier's physique, he was the guy. Ronnie Coleman looked up to you. You know, he could never place ahead of you. What's up with all that talk? Is that accurate? Or did you party like a crazy man?
It could have been a lot of different things. I don't think I had the best relationships because, you know, a relationship can make you or break you in life. and in the sport. If you have a solid situation like that, I don't think I really even needed to have some of these relationships I had. I was bouncing at 18 years old. I was in a nightclub all my life. Also, just before I turned pro, I quit that month that I turned pro. But I feel like I was going out all the time, and no one really paid attention to that part of my life until 1999. But I was going out since I was 18 all the time. So, and even when I looked my absolute best, I was going to Vegas every weekend up until 5 weeks out before I looked my absolute best. So I don't think that was the case. I think if I would have improved my IQ in the gym, if I would have improved there, if I would have, paid closer attention to my off season when it was just on downtime, but I didn't try to gain weight like that. I was just more artistically sound when it came to the posing, the different that make you a good bodybuilder. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's could have been other things because I'm still not happy to this day about the way I look physique-wise. I think I could have been better. I think I could have been better by what I was doing in the gym.
Yeah. Chris Cormier, eu perguntei para ele sobre a reputação dele, os amigos dele como Flex Wheeler, como Sean Ray, consideram ele um fenômeno, talvez o melhor de todos eles. Mas eles falaram que o Chris Cormier também fazia muita festa, curtia muito a balada. E o Chris falou, olha, desde quando eu era 18, 19 anos, eu era um bouncer, né? Bouncer é um segurança numa boate. Minha vida inteira tem sido, né, nos clubes, nas boates. Eu tive relacionamentos que talvez não me ajudaram, mas ele falou, eu não acho que esse foi o fator mais importante. O fator mais importante foi que eu não cresci muito na off-season. Eu devia ter crescido um pouco mais, eu sempre quis ser um pouquinho mais artístico na minha apresentação, ser um pouquinho menor, e eu não cresci o tanto que eu devia. E ele falou que isso talvez é o que ele se arrepende. Chris, Ronnie Coleman is placing, I remember watching the 90s, and Ronnie Coleman he can't beat you. You know what I mean? He can't beat, I always remember you guys, and he couldn't beat Chris Cormier. And then when did you realize, holy shit, what the hell is this guy doing? He's up for the races here. When did you realize that?
Well, he always had those huge arms. He was lacking in his lower half, and his posing wasn't good. He started to get extra help. He started to work with Chad Nichols, and Chad was taking a lot of the guys under his wing. I wasn't even working with Chad yet until 99. But before that time, I worked with other people. But I think that on the tour, when he finally beat, he was just nipping at everyone's heels, and then he beat Kevin on the tour. I think we were in, I can't remember what we were.
Russia.
Yeah, okay, so he beat him in that last show before coming home, and that was like, oh man, Kevin. And Kevin was a superhero to us because he was so far ahead from the start, coming from powerlifting to winning the junior nationals, the nationals, which were all in 1991. He went straight to the Olympia, winning his first pro show in Chicago, and then he took second in Olympia, all in a small frame of time. So to beat Kevin is saying something. You better understand that it's a change about to come. And then, Flex had some issues with, confidence and that killer instinct when it was all laid out for Flex to win the Olympia. But when Ronnie took it instead of Flex, and then Flex took him again in 99, it was like everybody started waving a white flag. It's going to be a different change of guard. It's going to be with Ronnie Coleman.
O Chris Cormier falou que eu perguntei para ele quando que você percebeu que o Ronnie Coleman ia se tornar esse fenômeno, esse grande campeão. Ele falou, olha, o Ronnie sempre teve braços grandes, mas estava faltando um pouco nas pernas. O condicionamento dele não estava tão bom. E aí ele começou a trabalhar com o Chad Nichols. E aí a gente começou a ver uma diferença. Quando ele ganhou o campeonato na Rússia, o Grand Prix em Rússia, contra o Kevin Levrone, realmente abriu os olhos de todo mundo e o pessoal falou, olha, talvez tenha uma mudança. E aí ele ganhou o Mr. Olympia, o Flex não estava no seu melhor, aí ele ganhou em 99 de novo, e aí todo mundo falou, olha, o cara está num outro nível, já levantou a bandeira branca. Chris, you are now considered one of the greatest coaches. A lot of guys were some of the greatest athletes, but they didn't translate into being great coaches. Chris Cormier was one of the greatest athletes and is one of the greatest coaches.
Thank you, bro.
Why do you think you've been able to make that transition when a lot of the great athletes have not been able to do that?
I have a lot of patience, for one. I have a ton of experience. I've done up to 75 pro shows. I've been in the, very successful, but I've been around the right people my whole life. I've been around, Robbie Robertson. I've been around the Godfather himself, Joe Weider. They were learning things all, the whole time from Gary Flex, Flex and us. We're all learning together and putting stuff together. But it was, I think I just around good people the whole time. Never had just some Joe Blow telling me something. It was always legendary people that was trying to help me understand what it was like to be a professional. But I was helping people long before I was coaching people. I helped Melvin Anthony win to California. He tied Dennis James in the USA with a 1 point difference, basically. But it was a lot of people that's been under my wing or someone I've helped the whole time. I was helping people the whole time. I even was cheering on Flex as I was going against Flex. Helping, and we've been, in the pose room together as we going to get ready for competition. And it was just something that came natural to me because I did a wide world of different sports, wrestling, football, and stuff. Understanding the psychological advancement of the different cultures and everything, and then just I try to get to know the athlete, and I try to understand what's going to help them personally. Everyone's physique is different, everyone's metabolism is different, and just try to get to know that physique and what's going to happen, what's going to work for them to get better. And no matter what people thought of me on my own time, going to the clubs, my work ethic is impeccable. My work ethic when it comes to the time I put in the pose room, in the gym, and it was just never enough. I want to outwork you. If I can outwork in the gym, I'm very confident on stage against you.
O Chris Cormier, eu perguntei para ele, por que muitos atletas fenomenais nunca se tornaram grandes técnicos? E ele falou, olha, eu aprendi com o Joe Weider, eu aprendi com o Robbie Robinson, com um dos melhores, o profissionalismo de ser um coach. E eu também sou muito paciente. Muitos desses caras que foram atletas consagrados não são tão pacientes. Então, isso foi a explicação dele, de ele ter se tornado um dos grandes técnicos, de ter adaptado o treinamento dele para esses grandes atletas e ter percebido o que ele pode usar na psicologia do atleta. Ele falou, eu fui um atleta, eu sei o que o atleta está passando, entendeu? Então, essa foi uma das grandes vantagens do Chris Cormier. Chris, there's a few questions by the Brazilians here. And Horsepower Pro, ask which Arnold does he believe he was the closest to victory? What year?
Oh man. Well, we can go with I think I don't know, it's 99 or 2000. I went against Flex, and the show that you saw right there was against Flex and Dexter. We all went to the classic after that show, and it was Kevin, myself, and Flex in the top three. Okay, so I was confident that I was going to win the show. I think Flex was confident that I was going to win that show. That was the only time Flex didn't bring his whole family to the show. And I said, okay, he's here by himself for a reason, because Flex brought newborns with him to the show sometime when he goes to the door on a class. So I said, okay, mentally I already got him. And I don't know why, but he improved that week. He was doing like no carbs the whole week, 2 hours a day on the cardio. We're watching each other at the gym. He's on the cardio, I'm on the cardio, and we're locking eyes at some time, but not really talking at that time. I thought I should have won that show. And if you look at some of the photos, we can beat each other in certain poses, but I think I overall had him there. I thought against in 2004 against Jay, I thought I had the fuller, harder, not harder, but he was like flat. He tried to come in super dry, and I think it just backfired on his type of style of physique. He was used to just being like massive and cut, and I thought that was a show. I haven't found a judge or a fan or a competitor that says I shouldn't have won that show. I'm still looking. Since 2004, I'm still looking. So I haven't found anyone that dispute that I should have won that show. And then the very next year against Dexter was the first time beating me. I turned the tables on him to beat him in the Cisco show the next week. But I thought I was super close on winning that one. I probably was a little bit fatter than I wanted to be, but I was a lot fuller than that week in the judge over Dexter. And these are Mr. Olympia guys. Even, and Ronnie 2001, but that was after coming at 280 pounds. He had won 3 months earlier, then coming down to my same weight. We were both 249 at that on Pass in 2001. So there you go.
O Chris Cormier falou que em 2000, aquele vídeo que a gente começou mostrando, ele tinha ganho do Flex Wheeler no Ironman, e aí eles foram para o Arnold, que é um depois do outro. E naquele Arnold, ele não levou a família, o Flex não levou a família dele. Geralmente, quando o Flex estava muito confiante, ele levava a família dele. E o Chris Cormier falou, nessa vez ele não levou. Então, psicologicamente, ele já falou que ele já tinha ganho dele. E na academia, eles já estavam se encarando, um olhando para o outro. Ele estava percebendo o que o Flex estava fazendo, que ele não estava comendo nenhum carboidrato, estava fazendo muito cardio. E aí eles foram para lá e o Flex Wheeler ganhou. Mas ele falou, olha, aquele lá foi muito apertado, muitas pessoas pensaram que eu ganhei. E em 2004, contra o Jay Cutler, ele falou, olha, o Jay tentou vir muito seco e não era o estilo dele, e eu estava um pouquinho mais definido que ele. Muitas pessoas acharam que eu também ganhei esse evento. Chris, what was the best, most important Mr. Olympia that you've ever been? The Mr. Olympia that you're like, this is my best, I'm battling it out, I could win this. Which one was it?
I had to say 99. The one that stands out to me is 94 and 99. 94 is my very first one, and just to me that was like putting my stamp on the sport. Like, yes, I was a good amateur winning the USA 93, but I went straight into the Ironman taking second, the Arnold taking fourth, and then the Olympia being in the top 6 as a rookie. That was very substantial to accomplish. But 99, I was like, that's when I verbally changed when we were training, like, yes, like I'm coming for the top spot wherever I land, fine, but I'm making my rush for the title for 99.
O Chris Cormier falou que foi em 1999 o melhor físico dele no Mr. Olímpia. Ele falou que em 1994, quando ele começou, logicamente, ele marcou o esporte, porque ele falou, olha, eu já cheguei no Olímpia. Uma vez você chega no Olímpia, você faz sua marca. Foi em 1999 que ele realmente trouxe o melhor físico e é o mais importante para ele. E ele recomenda a todos vocês a verem as fotos dele. Chris, let's talk about comparisons. This is my favorite part because I know you're not going to hold back.
I hope not. What's up?
This talk about this current generation is not as good as the 90s. My generation is better than me. Sean Ray is telling Dexter, you never beat me. Dexter is telling Sean Ray, you know, these comparisons. What do you think about these comparisons? Because, you know, sometimes it's part of the sport. People compare LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant every single day. And in our sport, I mean, you got to compare Chris Cormier with Brendan Curry, Phil Heath with Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates with Jay Cutler. It happens. Jay Cutler said it makes no sense. The machines are different. The technology is different. What do you think about these comparisons?
From my time till now?
Correct, yeah.
Well, I think it's just a different mindset behind the physique. I think it's like you say, it's different things that ingesting from the different nutritions. There are different machines now that we have back in the day. I think that the body fat is super low these days, but it's a lot of fullness that people are accustomed to. I just think it's just a different time to do it. But I think we were good. I think these guys can be good. I just want to put a personal challenge myself to this generation. Put in the work, do the time, put in the work in the posing room. If you don't know what you're doing, get help. And I just want to see you guys put the rest. We want you guys to be better. Just like if we were like the OGs, we want to see the young ones come up better than we were. So I'm putting out a personal challenge to the next generation to bring your best, bring it to the shows, bring it every time you come. We want to see the best. We want to see a higher level of intensity of training, of posing. Like bring it. Like I'm challenging the young guys. Bring it. Who's ever competing nowadays? Bring that shit. Bring it.
Chris Cormier está basicamente desafiando. Ele falou, olha, eu não quero comparar muito as gerações, mas eu quero desafiar os competidores de hoje a realmente colocar mais esforço, praticar as poses, fazer mais cardio. Tem que ter uma mentalidade diferente atrás do corpo, um pouco mais agressiva. E o Chris Cormier está desafiando todos esses competidores a entrarem com esse tipo de motivação, mentalidade. Chris, let's get real here.
Let's get real.
Is Phil Heath competing? Is Phil Heath competing at the 2020 Mr. Olympia? Yes or no?
I think he is.
Is Sean Roden competing?
For some reason, I just think with that situation that he's looking at, I just somehow think that he can. I really do. I think he can.
Sean is in. Okay, Sean is in. Brandon is going to defend his title. Bonek is going to be there. Rami, do you think Rami qualifies and gets in there?
If he's going to compete, I mean, if he's going to compete, I I think he's definitely someone to always. He's like the Mike Tyson of the sport. Like he's like either he's gonna take a big swing. You know, everyone's still, even though some fans, you know, also himself shows disappointment in some placings. He's still the elephant in the room. Possibly someone that can get the title. He's just that type of look. He's always going to be a showstopper, but it's going to be up to him with having his heart to bring forth the Romney that we expected him. But he's still like the Mike Tyson of the sport. And get right in there.
So we have Phil, Sean, Brandon, Bonac, Rami, Hadi. If all these guys are competing, who's going to win the 2020 Mr. Olympia, Chris Cormier from Palm Beach, California?
I'll give you the top three.
Go ahead and give me the top three. Who's going to win the
Brandon, Phil, and Bonac.
Brandon, Phil, and Bonac?
Top three.
Okay. Now, are you going to place them for us?
See, that's going to depend on the people. That's going to depend on them. So that's hard to do, but I think that's the top three.
Chris used to be a lot more assertive.
I think that's the top three. I told you I put the
if you're
challenge
gonna
out
back
there.
Down, if you're going to back down because you're afraid, then, you know, let's go watch synchronized swimming together. You know, I just pick you up. You know, my daughter is going to do some synchronized swimming.
Let's do that.
And then we watch and we can say, well, I think the top three are those three girls. Chris Cormier, who's going to win?
This is the millennials. Like
who's going to win the 2020 Mr. Olympia? Is Phil Heath coming back and winning? Is Brendan Curry winning? Is Bonac finally winning? Who's going to win?
See, here's the thing.
You're not scared of it.
No. But you didn't even mention Dexter. You didn't put Dexter in there.
Oh, Dexter is going to be there. He's going to win the 2020 Mr. Olympia.
Man. Ask me that when we meet up again.
Why are you afraid?
I'm not afraid.
Is afraid.
I told you, I'm challenging all these guys to bring their best. I told you that. So as I start to see people, like we coming out of coronavirus situation. We don't know who had a gym, who had access, whatever, who didn't. But it's just hard to say right now. But I promise you, I lead up to the show, we'll do another one like this, and then I will definitely come up with an answer.
So you have Phil Brandon, and Bonac, top three. Out of the top three, you have Hadi,